everyone, happy Women's Day to all moms. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to feed tomatoes organically. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, but you might have noticed that in my garden I don't put lot of stuff while I'm replanting, and also during the growing period of plants I don't feed so much. I believe in gardening doesn't have to be expensive, and if you have a good native soil in your ground, use it, and you don't have to put a lot of chemical fertilizers or organic fertilizers. The native soil, it's gonna feed the plants for a few years before it start running out with the nutrients. So then you can start putting additional stuff, so it doesn't have to be fancy again. You might find people feeding with organic matter, chemical fertilizers, and so many things, but it is like one size doesn't fit all type when it comes to gardening. It always depending on your native soil, what kind of nutrients it has. So you have to understand your soil before you apply the techniques people have been showing in YouTube. The fish fertilizer I am going to use is a liquid fish fertilizer. I bought that almost 4 years ago. Most of the time, if you store the fish fertilizer well, it's not going to go bad. The more aged the fertilizer, the better. I'm going to show you how to use that, so how much water you're gonna mix, and what's the quantity of the fish fertilizer to go into a gallon or 2 gallon water. You don't want to just directly apply that. And many people were asking whether this fish fertilizer is going to burn the plants. I have not noticed that before, but I make sure to apply a lot of water immediately after adding the fish fertilizer and the next few days, so that actually helps the plants. And let me tell you how this fish fertilizer works. So this is liquid fertilizer I always use. How this works is, the fungi, microbes and bacteria in the ground are going to absorb the fish fertilizer. Like the fertilizer is going to feed those microbes. They digest it first, and then those microbes release the nutrients to the ground. So it's going to take some time for this fish fertilizer to break by finishing all this process. So plan accordingly. If you want to give the additional fertilizer when the soil is not rich enough, then you plan to give it a few weeks before the plant is actually going to produce. Let's go see how we have to apply the fish fertilizer to tomatoes. I'm going to feed both the new plants, determinate plants that I have replanted this season, and also a few overwinter tomato plants. This is Alaska fish plant food with 5:1:1 NPK ratio. I have taken a container which is around 4 gallon in size. I'm taking a cap full of this fertilizer, which is around 1.5 to 2 tablespoons, and adding 2 gallons of water to it. We usually add 1 to 2 gallons of water for this portion of the fertilizer. Depends upon the size of the plants we are going to feed. By the way, the fish fertilizer stinks. If you're not a big fan of fish, then prefer to use mask. This is how the water looks like after mixing. I'm pouring the water at the plant base. Shake well before empty the container to make sure not leaving anything at the bottom of the container. This is overwintered Roma tomato variety. It is loaded with fruits, but fruit is not growing big. These are small in size. I gave the same mix of this fertilizer to Roma determinate tomatoes. I bought these as plants from Lowe's. These plants started flowering. Two tomato black cream, and these are husky cherry red tomatoes. These started producing already. That's all to cover today, friends. Again, please keep in mind that gardening doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. It takes time to understand the soil you have and the fertilizers that the soil is going to need in your area. And if you are doing the container gardening, then you're gonna understand the potting mix you are using, before you pick the fertilizer, and also the frequency of the fertilizer you have to give to plants. Happy Women's Day again. Please subscribe if you are not already subscribed to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.